The new Google gaming platform has finally been revealed, named Google Stadia. Stadia. Has no physical box. It's purely based on streaming games through Chrome, I think. They were kind of unclear as to whether or not it was a separate app, a browser extension, or just part of Google as it is now. And from the jump, this conference felt kind of out of touch. There was a joke very early on about like, this guy knows RPGs from NPCs, as if only developers understand what that terminology even means. And it's just like, I think the CEO of Google, I believe it was, he said, "Now, I'm not really a huge gamer, but I do play FIFA." And already it's like, uh-oh, what are we in for? No idea. And the Stadia, before I get to kind of what more details about the Stadia from the conference, it is kind of a console, or not even a console, a platform, that is geared more toward, I don't want to say casual, maybe like non-traditional gamers. You know, people who, you know, might not want to shell out 400 bones for a PS4 or an Xbox, but still want to play, you know, the newest games. So I think for that, it's interesting. But in this conference, they go into relative detail about what the Stadia is, and that apparently it works with any controller, but they will offer their own controller that connects via Wi-Fi, which is a whole can of worms, because I don't even want to get into it, because I'm not even entirely, I wouldn't call myself a tech expert, but I can already kind of see some of the problems that might arise from that if like, you're in a place with a lot of interference. You know, even my PS4 controller, when I put like my leg between, like if I go like cross-legged and I put my leg between the controller and the PS4, it kind of disconnects. Maybe that's just a problem with the current controller I have because it's old, but with Wi-Fi and you have all these different Wi-Fi enabled devices around your home, that could cause problems. Again, like this could totally, someone who's smarter than me could probably come and be like, no, you're stupid, here's why, that's not a problem. But seemingly, from what I could tell from the reaction it got, it's not a great idea. But that's because Stadia is something that is meant to bounce from hardware to hardware. You can use it on your PC, your Mac, your Chromebook, or your phone, and all the way to your TV and whatever. So it is kind of meant to be this all-purpose, can connect to anything on the fly type of device. But I feel like Wi-Fi is the only way you can make that work. But I'm getting past myself. I wasn't really planning on going into that that much. Doom Eternal is being optimized for Google Stadia. The hardware it's streaming from it's a server with hardware that has AMD tech with 10 teraflops, so essentially enough to run all current AAA games at extremely high settings. But of course, the performance you'll extract from that is presumably reliant on your internet connection, which is kind of my issue with the Stadia, but I'll continue along with the rundown of what they talked about. They announced a first-party studio helmed by Jade Raymond, who helped make Assassin's Creed the juggernaut it is, but they didn't go into detail or announce anything that studio was actually working on, which is a little concerning, or odd at the very least. And yeah, the whole thing came across as them saying, just take our word on this, trust us, we know what we're doing, this will work, we promise. But it didn't really showcase why we should trust them to pull it off. It was very much a tell, not show type of situation where they had demos, but it still didn't feel representative of the actual experience. And they didn't explain pricing structures at all. We don't know if it's a paid monthly or annual service. Is it like a Netflix model where you pay a flat fee once a month or once a year and you get access to their entire library that you can stream? Or do you pay $60 for, or like whatever price, the full price for these games, and they're on your account and you can access them whenever that you want? And they also talked about how certain games that are compatible, they'll have trailers on YouTube and they'll have a link at the end of the video and you click it and you can just play the game right from there. And so that's why I think it could be a monthly subscription service, because how would that work if you click that link and, oh, you need to pay $60 to play this game, rather than them touting it as, oh, you click the link and you're in the game, boom. So I'm a little confused on that. They didn't really explain that very well. No information on what the optimal internet speed is either, which is probably the most important part, because not everyone has state-of-the-art internet connection speeds, so they really need to be able to make it work well for people who don't have fiber optics or even anything more than, I don't know, around 100 megabytes per second or less. You know, it's like if you have a certain connection, you might not, we don't know if you can even play these games in an optimal way, which kind of invalidates the entire experience and why you'd want this product. And plus, with net neutrality recently repealed and certain ISPs only offering internet packages with data caps, this thing doesn't have a chance if certain companies want to be kind of scummy about their business. All in all, it's an interesting idea, honestly, but the poor presentation and lack of crucial details didn't really do it any favors, in my opinion. The whole thing felt like buzzwords, and more buzzwords without any real substantial, this thing is going to be good, this thing is going to be bad. Now, with all that information taken into consideration, I do think game streaming is the natural progression of things. We started with physical media, and we've slowly worked our way up to digital downloads, so a Netflix-style streaming service is only natural. But I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon for this. The digital revolution, if you want to call it that, in gaming at least, is still going on. Even digital downloads are a hard sell for people who prefer physical media. You still see plenty of people who go, I don't download anything digitally, I only want physical media, I want to feel the game in my hands, I want to be able to sell it, I want to be able to trade it. And then you still have people who are slowly adopting all digital, and you have Steam that's been going on and on and on for a while now, but even on consoles, it's kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say a novelty, but there's definitely select few people who just like, I don't want, like me personally, I'm annoyed whenever I have to get up and put a disc, like swap a disc out in my PS4. I'd rather just have everything digital. And so whenever I can do digital, I can, but streaming just kind of feels like it's the next step, but it's like we're still trying to get to that second step. It's the third step, and we're still on our way to the second step. So you have three camps now. You have physical, digital downloading, and streaming. And more options, that's always a good thing, but we still haven't even gone all digital yet. So why are we already gunning for the thing that comes after that? And Xbox is already rumored to be releasing a console without a disc drive, and I think that's the direction we should be going right now, in my opinion. That's the kind of, even when that was rumored of like, oh, they're gonna make something without a disc drive, that was already like gasp, shock, whoa, what a crazy thing to do. And so to be jumping all the way to something that relies solely on streaming, that's kind of excessive. I mean, like, you have PS Now, but that's a service that's already tacked onto the PlayStation with PS Plus and the whole digital realm. And I guess you could argue that the Stadia isn't really a traditional console. It's not even a console. It's more of just a service. But I don't know. It just feels like this extra, again, it's just this extra thing, I guess. So it's not really worth worrying about, but I don't know. I have a diagram or an outline, so I'm trying not to get too crazy. Yeah, until optimal internet connections are a standard service, game streaming will never be the optimal way to play a game unless you're one of the select few that has a state-of-the-art connection. Ultimately, this entire thing can be boiled down to the fact that we just need to wait and see. Google can talk up Stadia all they want, but until it's out in the public's hands, there's no real way of telling if this thing will work out for them or not. You won't really know the full extent of how this thing works until you're seeing people talk about it on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch. You know, these people who, you know, will it become a laughingstock? Will it become this, hey, this is actually a pretty cool thing that you should try out type of device? It's hard to tell right now because we still, despite them talking for an hour straight, don't really know anything about this thing other than the fact that it's a streaming service and it's running on powerful hardware, but they touted that it's more powerful than the PS4 and the Xbox One combined, but that's even the Xbox One Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, those are already, you know, years old hardware. The thing we should be looking forward to now is, can it compete with the PS5 and the next Xbox? Because those, you know, if rumors and copyrights and trademarks are to be believed, those are coming relatively soon, within the next 12, 16 months. And this thing is due out this year, but if, you know, let's say hypothetically the next Xbox is spring 2020, that's only, the Stadia is only out for a few months before it's already obsolete, even by its already apparently ridiculously high standards. So, I don't know. Like I said, it's really just a wait and see situation. That's really all I have to say about it. I just really wanted to get my thoughts, my immediate thoughts, if anyone cared to listen to them. It's a little rambly, a little shaky, but I wanted to keep it a little more concise than the last time. It's still over 10 minutes, so I'm gonna cap this off right now. Thanks for listening. I just want to say new video essays are on their way. I've just been really busy working on a project that I can't wait to announce more details about. I don't know if it'll work out exactly as I hope, but if it does, I'll let you know as soon as I can. But until next time, thanks for listening.